My name is Elena Vasquez, and if you asked me 15 years ago what my life would look like today, I would have painted a picture of endless struggle, scraping by in the shadows of a city that chews up dreams and spits out survivors. I was just 10 years old when my world shattered, abandoned on the cracked sidewalks of East Los Angeles, California, with nothing but a backpack stuffed with threadbare clothes and a heart full of unanswered whys. My parents, Javier and Maria Vasquez, weren't monsters in the fairy tale sense. No dramatic villainy, just the slow poison of neglect and selfishness. They were dreamers turned addicts, chasing the high of quick cash and fleeting highs in the underbelly of LA's nightlife. One humid summer night in 2010, they vanished without a goodbye, leaving me with a note scribbled on a napkin. "We'll be back soon, Mija. Be strong." They never came. I grew up in the foster system, bouncing between homes like a pinball in a machine rigged against me. But East LA has a way of forging steel from fragile bones. I learned early to trust no one fully, to build walls higher than the Hollywood sign, and to carve out my own path with whatever scraps life tossed my way. School was my escape. A public high school in Boyle Heights where teachers saw potential in the quiet girl who devoured books on law and history like they were lifelines. By 18, I'd clawed my way into community college on scholarships and odd jobs. Waitressing at Ticarius, tutoring kids in math, even volunteering at a legal aid clinic that sparked something fierce in me. Law school at UCLA followed, fueled by grants and grit, and I graduated top of my class in 2020, specializing in family and estate law. Irony, right? The girl abandoned by her blood, now fighting for the broken families of others. Today, at 25, I live in a modest one-bedroom apartment in Silver Lake, the kind of place with exposed brick and a view of the Griffith Observatory that reminds me every dawn that I've made it, on my own terms. I'm 5 feet 6 inches with olive skin scarred by faint acne from teenage stress, dark curls that I tie back in a no-nonsense bun, and hazel eyes that have seen too much but still hold a spark of defiance. My wardrobe is practical, tailored blazers over jeans, comfortable loafers for courtrooms and coffee runs. I run a small firm, Vasquez Legal, focusing on pro bono cases for immigrant families navigating the American dream's fine print. Success tastes like quiet victories, a custody battle won, a deportation stalled. But beneath it all, there's a hollow ache, a what-if that whispers in the dead of night. What if they came back? What then? Little did I know, fate had a twisted sense of humor, and it was about to deliver the ultimate test. The call came on a drizzly Tuesday in August 2025, the kind of LA rain that feels more like a reluctant apology from the sky. I was buried in depositions at my desk when my assistant, Rosa, a sharp-witted abuela type who'd become my surrogate mom, buzzed in. "Elena, there's a Mr. and Mrs. Vasquez in the lobby. They say they're family. Insist on seeing you." My pen froze mid-signature. Vasquez is common in LA, but the way she said it, with that hesitant lilt, sent ice through my veins. "Family?" I echoed, my voice steadier than I felt. "Did they give a first name?" "Javier and Maria. They look rough around the edges, like they've been on a long road trip from hell. 15 years. Not a card, not a call, not a whisper. And now this." I told Rosa to send them up, then locked my office door and paced, heart hammering like a gavel. When they knocked, I opened it slowly, as if peering into a ghost story come alive. Javier stood there first, taller than I remembered, his once thick black hair, now a greasy gray mop tied back in a ponytail. His face was a roadmap of regrets, deep lines etched around bloodshot eyes, a scruffy beard hiding what might have been a weak chin. He wore a faded flannel shirt tucked into jeans that hung loose on a frame whittled by hard living. Beside him, Maria clutched a worn purse like a shield, her curves softened into frailty, peroxide blonde hair streaked with dark roots, makeup caked over wrinkles that screamed sleepless nights. She was shorter now, or maybe I was taller, but her eyes, those same hazel ones I'd inherited, flickered with a mix of hope and hunger. "Elena," Javier said, his voice gravelly like he'd smoked a lifetime's worth of regrets. "Mija, it's us. Your parents." The word parents landed like a slap. I stepped back, gesturing to the 2 chairs across from my desk. "Sit. And explain why, after 15 years of radio silence, you're here now." They shuffled in, the scent of cheap motel soap and desperation trailing them. Maria dabbed at her eyes with a tissue that looked like it had seen better days. "We've been clean for 2 years now, Elena. Rehab in Reno, then a halfway house in Vegas. We got our lives together. We wanted to find you sooner, but pride, you know? And fear. What if you hated us?" Javier nodded, leaning forward. We heard about your Aunt Sophia. The news hit the papers. Rich widow leaves everything to long-lost niece. We're so proud, Mija. But we read she passed last month. The mansion in the Hollywood Hills, the inheritance. It's a lot for a young woman to handle alone. There it was. The hook. Aunt Sophia. My rock, my savior. She'd swooped into my life like a guardian angel with a checkbook when I was 12, during one of my foster stints. A successful real estate mogul who'd built an empire flipping properties in the valley, Sophia was my mother's estranged sister. Feisty, unapologetic, with a laugh that could fill a room and a will of iron. She'd never had kids, but she saw herself in the scared girl with the big dreams. You're mine now, Elena, she'd said, pulling strings to become my legal guardian without fanfare. No adoption papers filed publicly. Just quiet protection, a trust fund for college, and weekends at her sprawling mansion overlooking the city lights. Sophia taught me resilience, law, and the art of spotting a con from a mile away. When she died of a sudden heart attack at 72, her will was airtight. The $2 million estate, the 7-bedroom mansion with its infinity pool and vineyard views, all to me. No strings except one, use it to build, not to break. And now my parents were here, eyes gleaming at the mention of it. We thought, maybe we could help, Maria ventured, twisting her purse strap. Guardianship. For your sake. You're still young, and managing that kind of money? It's overwhelming. We could petition the court. Family has rights, you know. Blood rights. I leaned back, fingers steepled, channeling every courtroom calm I'd honed. Guardianship? I'm 25, emancipated since 18. And blood? That's rich, coming from you too. You left me with a napkin and a prayer. Do you know what that did? Foster homes that treated me like baggage. Nights wondering if I was even worth finding. Javier's face crumpled. We were addicts, Elena. Cocaine, then meth. It stole us. But we're better now. Sober. Working odd jobs. We just want to make it right. Be a family again. The plea tugged, a ghost of the little girl who'd waited by the window. But the lawyer in me saw the play. Broke parents, sudden sobriety, timing perfect for Sophia's obituary. I needed time. I'll think about it. Give me your contact info. We'll talk. They left with hopeful nods, but as the door clicked shut, I was already dialing my investigator, Marco, a grizzled ex-cop with a nose for lies. Run them. Deep dive. And pull Sophia's old files. Something feels off. The next week blurred into a storm of discovery. Marco's report landed like a grenade. Javier and Maria had indeed hit rock bottom. Arrests for possession in Nevada, a stint in county jail, then rehab funded by who knows what. But the timeline? Shaky. They'd surfaced in Reno only after Sophia's death made headlines. No prior attempts to locate me. Worse, financials showed recent deposits, small, anonymous wires from an offshore account. Someone was pulling strings. Then came Sophia's files, tucked in a locked drawer she'd labeled for Elena's eyes only. Yellowed documents, notarized in 2011, the year after my abandonment. My breath caught as I scanned them, adoption papers. Sophia had legally adopted me. Not just guardianship, full adoption. My name changed quietly to Elena Sofia Vasquez, birth certificate amended, all sealed under California Family Code to protect me from hostile relatives. A secret clause. If my biological parents ever resurfaced claiming rights, it would trigger a countersuit for abandonment and fraud. Sophia had anticipated this. They'll come crawling back when the money smells sweet, her note read. But you're mine, heart and soul. Fight dirty if you must. The twist hit like vertigo. I wasn't just inheriting her fortune. I was her daughter on paper and in truth. My parents? Legal strangers. The ultimate payback wrapped in ink and law. But confrontation wasn't enough. I wanted justice that echoed. I called in favors, my firm's partners, a probate judge friend, even a PI to tail Javier and Maria. Turns out they weren't alone. Whispers from a seedy bar in Echo Park revealed a benefactor. A sleazy attorney named Harlan Crow, known for elder fraud cases. Crow had approached them post-obit, promising a cut of the inheritance if they played the family card. Guardianship petition drafted, witnesses lined up, paid sob stories from reformed addicts. The mansion, the $2 million? It was their ticket out of poverty porn. I felt the rage simmer, not hot and blind, but cold and calculated. Sophia's voice echoed, "Justice isn't revenge, Elena. It's balance." So I planned. First, the meeting. I invited them to the mansion for family dinner, a neutral ground to air grievances. The house was a Spanish Revival masterpiece, terracotta tiles, arched doorways, a courtyard fountain bubbling under string lights. I'd hired a caterer for authenticity. Empanadas, tamales, a bottle of Sophia's favorite Cabernet. Neutral, inviting. A trap. They arrived in a rented Chevy, eyes widening at the gates. Dios mío, Maria gasped, clutching Javier's arm as we toured the grounds. The infinity pool shimmered against the sunset, the city sprawling below like a glittering conquest. We settled in the sunroom, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hollywood sign. Over plates of food, the masks slipped. This place, it's too much for one person, Javier said, fork pausing midair. We could live here. Help manage it. Sell a plot if needed. There's that vineyard out back. Maria nodded eagerly. And the money. Investments. We know people in Vegas who could. Stop. My voice cut like glass. I slid the adoption papers across the table, the Nevada report beside it. Their faces drained of color. You're not my parents. Not legally. Not morally. Sophia adopted me. Sealed it tight. You have no claim. Javier sputtered. Adopted? Without telling us? That's kidnapping. Abandonment voids your rights under California Penal Code 278. You left a minor unattended. Felony. I leaned in, voice low. And this? Crow's scheme? Wire fraud. Embezzlement. I've got recordings, your bar confessions. The deposits traced to his Cayman account. Maria burst into tears, real this time. We were desperate. Crow said it was our due. After all we lost. You lost nothing, I said, standing. I lost everything. But Sophia gave it back. And now, you're done. Security, discreet at my signal, escorted them out. But that was just Act 1. The next morning I filed, countersuit for fraud, restraining order against Crow. The probate court moved fast. Judge Ramirez, who'd mentored me at UCLA, saw the slam dunk. Crow folded, spilling to the DA for immunity. Javier and Maria? Community service, restitution. $50K from the wires, funneled to my firm's pro bono fund for foster kids. The mansion? I kept it, turning the guest wing into a legal aid satellite office. Sophia's legacy house, we called it. Free consultations for families like the one I'd escaped. The vineyard? Donated plots to local farms, teaching urban kids agriculture. The $2 million? Invested wisely, scholarships in Sophia's name, a foundation for abandoned youth. Months later, as fall painted the hills gold, I stood on the balcony, a glass of that Cabernet in hand. The city hummed below, alive with possibility. No ghosts haunted me now. Javier sent a letter once, apology scrawled in shaky pen. We were wrong. Be happy, daughter. I filed it away, unread to the end. I'd confronted the monsters, not with fists, but with truth. And in the quiet, I heard Sophia laugh. Balance restored. But the story didn't end there. Whispers of deeper shadows lingered. Crow, in his plea deal, mentioned a client, not just greedy but vengeful. Turns out my parents had a half-sister, Tia Rosa, who'd cut ties decades ago over a property dispute with Sophia. Tia, now a bitter widow in Palm Springs, had bankrolled the plot from afar, nursing old grudges. Blood for blood, her emails read, uncovered in the raid. I could have sued her into oblivion, defamation, conspiracy. But mercy has its place. Instead, I invited her to the mansion. Not for dinner, but dawn tea on the terrace. She arrived haggard, pearls choking her neck, eyes like chipped flint. Why? I asked, pouring chamomile. Sophia was family. We all were. She sneered. Your aunt stole everything. Our parents' land sold for her empire. Left us scraps. Lies, I countered, sliding deeds from Sophia's files. She bought fair. You signed off, cashed the check. Greed, not theft. Tia's facade cracked. Stories spilled. A childhood of favoritism, Sophia the golden child. Abandonment echoed across generations. Forgive, I offered. Or walk away. But the foundation gets your donation, anonymous. For the kids. She chose the latter, wiring $100,000 that week. A start. In the end, the twist wasn't just papers, it was unraveling the chains. USA, land of second chances, had tested me. I'd passed, not unbroken, but forged anew.